Mitch McConnell is absolutely terrified, and he tried to make a lot of threats against the American people on this next clip. He just got off the Senate floor. Listen to him as he tries to scare Democrats away from abolishing the filibuster, because he knows that's the only way Democrats will get anything done over the next 4 years. Listen to this litany of threats.
Nobody serving in this chamber can even begin to imagine what a completely scorched earth Senate would look like. As soon as Republicans wound up back in the saddle, we wouldn't just erase every liberal change that hurt the country. We'd strengthen America with all kinds of conservative policies with zero input from the other side. How about this? Nationwide right to work for working Americans. Defunding Planned Parenthood in sanctuary cities on day one. A whole new era of domestic energy production. Sweeping new protections for conscience and the right to life of the unborn. Concealed carry reciprocity in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Massive hardening of security on our southern border.
So what Mitch McConnell is saying here is that if the Democrats dare try to abolish the filibuster in order to get things done, then when they get back in power, they're going to use a scorched earth approach. Well, riddle me this. Hasn't that been exactly what Mitch McConnell has done this entire time? I mean, he only held the line and made sure that President Obama was not going to be able to get a Supreme Court pick by the name of Merrick Garland. And then subsequently, as soon as Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, he made sure that Donald Trump got to get his pick. So Mitch McConnell has done nothing over the term of his time in the Senate but played scorched earth politics. And yet he's trying to scare everybody into saying or into not abolishing the filibuster, because he knows if they abolish the filibuster, then we can actually get something done for the American people. Mitch McConnell is scared. He is scared. He is terrified of what will happen. Consider this. If the Senate does not do away with the filibuster, then there's no way H.R. 1 will pass the Senate, and there's no way we will have voter protections. If we do not get voter protections, then the Republicans can continue to do what they're doing all across the country, which is rolling back voter rights state by state by state. The state of Georgia has over 80 bills that came to the floor in order to roll back voter rights. And he knows that if H.R. 1 passes in the Senate and is signed into law by Joe Biden, then that will be the end of the Republican Party, because the Republican Party has no other way of obtaining and maintaining power except by disenfranchising millions of Americans, particularly black people in this country. So he is trying to scare Democrats into doing nothing over the filibuster, over not overturning and abolishing the filibuster, because he knows that if they do, then H.R. 1 will pass. And if H.R. 1 passes the Senate and is signed into law, then that is the end of the Republican Party. And that's good news, because quite frankly, this country does not need to be any further to the right than the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is conservative enough. What Republicans want to do, actually, I don't even have to tell you what they want to do. I want to go back and play his list. He went down a list of things that Republicans will do if they get back in power. And so while he's trying to make that as a threat, I think that we should look at it as a way of explaining why Republicans should never be in power again. Take a listen to him.
Nobody serving in this chamber can even begin to imagine what a completely scorched earth Senate would look like.
Yes, we can, because you did it against President Obama. You made sure that he did not get his judicial picks up and down. And that's why Donald Trump was able to make over so many judicial appointments, because you played scorched earth politics. Let's continue.
As soon as Republicans wound up back in the saddle, we wouldn't just erase every liberal change that hurt the country. We'd strengthen America with all kinds of conservative policies with zero input from the other.
They gave no input to Democrats for the over $2 trillion tax cut that Donald Trump signed into law in 2017. No input. They don't care about input. They only care about power and control. Let's continue. Listen to these threats.
Side. How about this? Nationwide right to work for working Americans.
Right there. That needs to be a soundbite and turned into an ad, because right to work states ensure that unions are broken all across the country. Think about the state of Florida, any state that's a right to work state. It is impossible, nearly impossible, for unions to organize and come together in these types of states. And this gives employers the ability to fire you without cause. This is what he's threatening. He's threatening every single worker in this country. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're white. Mitch McConnell just made a threat against your livelihood.
Defunding Planned Parenthood in sanctuary cities.
He's now threatening a woman's right to choose, and he's now using xenophobia as a way of scaring Americans away from this possibility. Take a listen in.
One, a whole new era of domestic energy production.
He's threatening the environment on top of everything else. Let's continue.
Sweeping new protections for conscience and the right to life of the unborn.
They're going to try to do this anyway. They've been trying to do this anyway. Don't make threats, Mitch McConnell, because you're not really good at this.
Concealed carry reciprocity in all 50 states and the District of Columbia.
He's trying to make sure the NRA gets their handouts, their candy, gets what they want. He's trying to scare us into making sure that we don't abolish the filibuster, because if we do, then they're going to make sure that if a person has concealed carry in Georgia, they'll be able to go to New York and not have to abide by the laws in New York because of reciprocity. These are more threats of what he wants to do if Republicans get back in power.
Massive hardening of security on our southern border.
Never mind the emergency funding that Donald Trump tried to use to build a border wall. Listen, these are not threats from Mitch McConnell so much as a list of things that he's guaranteed they're going to do if they ever get back in power. He wants you to be afraid of abolishing the filibuster so that they can make sure that H.R. 1 never becomes a Senate bill that is passed and signed into law by Joe Biden. Because if H.R. 1 is passed and voter protections spread across this country as a matter of law, then Republicans will never get in power ever again. And if you listen to the same clip that I just listened to, that should help you understand why Republicans need not be in power ever again. So abolish the filibuster, pass H.R. 1 in the Senate, get it to Joe Biden's desk, and the furthest right this country ever needs to go ever again needs to be the Democratic Party. That should be the end of conservatism in this country. Because what Republicans want to do is take this country off of a fascistic cliff.